أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So we are starting with التدريبات, the exercises, and we have التدريب الأول, the first exercise, and it says عليه أقلام ومبرات. So few things going on here. We have عليه, it's basically we have the word على and then we have the pronoun who. Okay. This attached pronoun, inshallah, we'll study them and much more in details in the future lesson. So one thing you have to understand that in Arabic language, we have basically the main two kinds of pronouns. The Arabic language divides them by detached and attached. Okay, so the detached is similar to your subject pronoun. Okay, it is similar to your subject pronouns. For example, you say he, okay, you say she, and the attached is for every other pronoun, whether it is object pronoun or possessive pronoun. Okay, so I'll just write object or possessive. Okay, so what is the object pronoun of he is him, right? And what is the possessive pronoun for he is his, right? And for she is her, right? So as you can see, there are different types of pronoun, right? You have a subject pronoun and you have other types of pronoun. So in Arabic language, they also divide them into these two categories. We have detached pronoun, which is exclusively used for subject, and we have attached pronoun for everything else. As I said, inshallah, we'll be studying them a lot more in details in the future lessons. So what is the detached pronoun in Arabic? For example, huwa. Okay, it is your detached pronoun, like subject pronoun. And also here, most of the pronouns that we have gotten so far, these are your subject or detached pronoun. So what is the attached pronoun for huwa? It is ha with dhamma. Now, because the word is saying attached, that means this pronoun must be attached with a word. These pronouns cannot stand by themselves. Okay, so the huwa is he, and who would be for both him and his. Okay, and for here, let me write this one here. And here, the attached pronoun for here is ha. Okay, ha with alif. And again, we need to attach them with a word. So for example, now you want to say her book, you cannot say here. You have to say ha. You want to say I saw him, you cannot say huwa because huwa is he. You have to say who. Okay, inshallah, how we connect them, this is something that we'll study them later. But these are the two words right now, at least right now, you have to understand, right? You have a subject pronoun and you have object pronouns. Subject pronouns are called detached pronoun. In Arabic, we call munfasil, okay, detached pronoun. And the object's pronoun or the possessive pronouns are called attached pronoun, which is muttasil. Okay, so if you understand this much for now, inshallah, that's good enough. So what happens now if you want to say on the desk, you know, you want to say something is on the desk, what do you say? You say ala al-maktab, yes? And of course you have your kasa, ala al-maktabi. But what if you want to say on it? See, you replace this desk with it. So instead of saying on the desk all the time, you want to say I put something on it. Okay, so the on remains same, you have ala, and it. What is it in Arabic language? Remember, we use huwa for both he and it. Okay, so we will be using huwa. Now, can we use huwa here? No, we cannot use huwa because huwa is only used in a subject. When we say something is on something, it is not subject anymore. We have to use attached pronoun. Okay, so we have to say this who. Okay, so we have ala and then we add who, and we understand we have to combine them. What happens is a little bit technical. This alif that we have, because this is alif right now, when you combine them, it becomes ya. So you have alayhi. Here it should be alayhu, right? But this is a specific rule that if you have ya or kasra before ha, you have to pronounce with he, just to make pronunciation a little bit easier. That's all. Okay. For example, I'll give you one example. We have min. Min is from. Now you want to say from him or from it, so you add who. It will be minhu. See, your who doesn't change here. It remains as who. It doesn't become he, min he. It remains minhu. But the issue we have here is because, this is, as I said, it's a little bit technical in Arabic language. When you have a kasra or ya, then this ha will get a kasra, alayhi, just to make pronunciation easy. Okay? Now, so what happens when you make it into feminine? You say ala, and then you have ha, it becomes alayha. Here we don't make it into kasra. We don't say alayhiya, okay? We just say alayha. Okay? For now, just memorize the way it is. Inshallah, we will go a lot more in details and we'll talk a lot about how to connect these pronouns. So that's precisely what's happening here when we say alayhi. It means on it or on him. Depends. Something is on him. You understand? By the context, it probably looks like it's talking about it, something like surface, some kind of desk or something. It doesn't matter, right? The translation would be on it. We have aqlamun wa mibratun. Aqlam is what? Is a plural for qalam, which is pens, and mibratun is sharpener. Okay, we had these words before, right? So here we have fiha. As you can see, you can quickly recognize this ha is coming from your attached pronoun. Okay, so this one represents what? Here. So we have fi and here, and it is fiha. That means on it or on her. Depends, right? Depends on the context. Let's see what it says. Ayatun is a verse min al Qur'anil Kareem, a verse from the novel Quran. So obviously here it means it. In it is a verse from the novel Quran. Makes sense? Now, this one is similar. So, you can try the following ones and see if you can understand. For example, it says, alayhi mimhatun wa mistaratun, on it, an eraser and a ruler, right? Alayhi kutubun wa majallatun, okay? On it, books and magazines. So, inshallah, try to do rest of them. Inshallah, I think it's not that difficult. And I'll just do one more from here. It says fiha maq'adun wa arikatun. Fiha, in it. For example, maybe the context is room. In it, because room is ghurfa. Okay, so you have to use ha because of feminine, right? So in it, fiha maq'adun, a seat, wa arikatun, and a sofa. Okay, now, and the next exercise looks like these are the same listening exercise. We have to skip them because we don't have the listening materials. And at Tadrib al the fourth exercise is your listening. Salima, Thalima. So basically, sin and tha. Samarun, Thamarun. Samin and Thamin. Okay, so inshallah you can practice them. And we have at Tadrib al Khamis, the fifth exercise. It says, Ajib mina surah. Ajib is to answer. Answer from the picture. Okay, so we have a picture. Let's see what is the question. ماذا يفعل بكر? Okay, here's a Bakr. What is he doing? ماذا يفعل is what? Okay, يفعل, he is doing. Bakr. So basically, what is Bakr doing? Okay, it says Bakrun يقرأ. Bakr is reading fil mushaf sharif. Bakr is reading in the mushaf. The Quran book, mushaf sharif. The sharif is same thing as Kareem, which is noble. Okay, the Bakr is reading the noble Quran or Mus'haf. Now, next one, ماذا يفعل الطبيب? What is the doctor doing? Okay, ماذا يفعل الطبيب? So what is he doing? As you can see, he's checking, he examining the patient. You can say الطبيب. Okay, الطبيب يفحص. Remember this word? يفحص المريض. And what do we have in al-marid? Al-marid is the object, so we have to put fatha. الطبيب يفحص المريض. You understand? So the doctor is examining the patient. Now, you can say الطبيب. You can also say هو. You can replace this word with its pronoun. You can say هو يفحص المريض. Okay, you can do that. And also, you can just simply remove the whole thing. You can just say يفحص المريض. Because remember, this verb has the pronoun built in. So you can just say يفحص المريض. He is he is examining the patient. Okay, I'm just giving you different ways of saying it, but probably you might want to use the noun or the pronoun. جيد. And we have ماذا يفعل الرجل? What is the man doing? Okay, so looks like he is doing ruku. Okay, you can say الرجل الرجل يركع. So the man is making a ruku. Here, this word yarka'u, it doesn't need an object. Okay, this is your intransitive verb. It doesn't need object. You can just say yarka'u. He is making ruku. Okay. Next we have ماذا يفعل المريض. Okay, so which one is the subject? Subject is the marid here. And here marid was object. So here the question is, what is the sick patient is doing? All right. So you can say al-maridu. How do you say he's taking a medicine? You say yata yatanawalu. Remember this word yatanawalu ad-dawa. He is taking medicine. Now we have ماذا يفعل الطيار. طيار is pilot. Okay, so what is he doing? Looks like he is reading the board, right? You can say الطيار يقرأ اللوحة. He is reading the board. Or you can say لوحة لوحة المواعيد. لوحة المواعيد. And why am I putting fatha here and why am I putting fatha here? Because what? This is your object of the verb yakra. What is he reading? I think there's a uh, I think it's مواعيد. I think I have to double check. Now, so in the next page we have التدريب السادس. التدريب السادس is sixth exercise. And it says اكتب أسئلة كما في المثال. So it looks like we have some, it's called أدوات الاستفهام, the questioning tools. So these are all tools that we use to question, right? So we have hal we use for yes no question, right? Man is who, aina is where, kam is how many or how much, ma is what, mada also means what. Usually mada we use for actions, we use it for verbs. Okay, now looks like what they will do is they will give us the answer. Okay, and we have to come up with the question. Looking at the answer, we have to see what would be the question, appropriate question for that answer. So the answer is Bakrun fi ghurfatil qira'a. So Bakr is in the reading room. Okay, so that's your answer. So what would be the question? So it looks like we're describing Bakr being in some kind of place. So that's why we have to ask about Aina, because we use Aina when we're asking about a place. Aina is where. So Aina Bakrun, the answer is Bakrun fi ghurfatil qira'a. Now let's look at what we have. We have Raqmul Bayti Thalathatun. Okay, the Raqmul Bayti, it means the number of the house. Okay, the house number, right? Thalathatun, three. So the house number is 3. So what would be the question for this answer? So remember, in Arabic language, when we're asking about any kind of number, then we use kam. Okay, kam is how much or how many. Okay, so we have to use kam. Uh, Using kam can be a little bit tricky because there are some rules that we have to follow when we use kam. The basic rules, remember what we mentioned, that after kam, we always get fatha. Remember? So we say kam, we have kam kitaban. Okay, so few rules. Rule number one, it has to be singular. In English, we translate how many books. Yes, but we're using kitab. Kitab is singular. The plural is kutub, but we're not saying kutub, we're saying kitab. That's number one. Number two is we have to make the word into mansub, which means what? Means that we have to put fatha. Okay, so we have to say kam kitaban. We cannot say kam kitabun, right? We have to say kam kitaban. That is our basic rule. Okay, but the thing to remember is that here after kam, we're asking about the number of books. Okay, how many books? We're asking about number of books, right? And it's clearly shown when we answer the question. We can say thalathatu kutubin, right? As you can see, the one that we're asking about, it will always be after the number. Okay, so because we're asking about how many books, you're saying 3 books. But sometimes you can remove that, omit this thing that you're asking about. Okay, and how do you know it is not that easy to figure these things out? But for example, here we have Raqmul Bayti Thalatha. Do we have the thing that we're asking about? Thalatha what? 3 what? The thing is not specified. So we need to know what's in here in order to make this rule. Okay, but here it is not specified. Here you have to assume that something is there, and the assumption would be number, right? Remember, there's 2 words for number. Raqam is number, but we also have adad. Adad. Okay, adad is also number. Here we can assume that it would be thalathatu adad. The thing that we're asking about is actually missing. In this kind of situation, we can just simply use the word kam and leave everything else the way it is. Okay, so basically we can say up until here, so maybe you can write it here. So you can say kam raqmul bayti. Okay, we don't have to make, or actually we can't make this one into mansub because this is not what we're asking about. Now if you're asking about raqam, then yes, you can say thalathatu arqam. You can say arqam. Okay, but then you have to ask like this: kam uh, raqman. Then you have to say raqmul bait. You understand? For example, we had kam hujratan fil baiti. How many rooms in the house? Our answer was what? Fil baiti thalathu hujuratin. See, right after thalatha, we had the hujuratin coming back. That's why when we're asking about kam, we were able to say kam hujratan. You understand? So bottom line, if you don't see anything coming after the number, okay, it is something that understood. Same situation will happen when somebody asks about your age. They will say, Kam umruka. They will say, Kam umruka. See, they're using Dhamma here. They're not using Fatha. Why? Because when you answer the question, you see what happens. You say, Umri, my age. There's a small boy. He's saying, Sab'u, Sabu what? Sanawat. Sanawat. Okay? So now you're saying umri sab'u sanawat. See, that is the one that you're asking about, but you're not you're not mentioning this thing in the question. You could have said this one like kam sanatan. Okay, umruka. You understand? Because you have this sana will be coming back right after the number. But there are times when you remove the thing that you're asking about, from the context, it's understood. Okay, so again, this is, I'm pretty sure it's a little bit confusing, but as I said, whatever you can understand is fine. But answer to this question would be come rokmul baiti. Okay, now the next one, it says هذه مسطرة. Okay, this is a ruler. Now that should be very easy. What would be the question? Somebody's asking about what is this, right? Ma هذه, then you say هذه مسطرة. So we have to use this one. Ma هذه. Okay, that would be the question. Then you say هذه مسطرة. And the next one is should be very obvious because it's starting with nam. That means it's asking about yes, no question, right? So, and we know that we have to use hal. Hal brings about yes, no question, right? So what would be the question? The question would be like, it would be pretty big. You will just ask here, hal bakrun yakra'u fil mushaf sharif. The whole thing would be a question, right? This whole part. Remember when we have yes, no question, we simply copy everything down, right? And the answer is Naam bakrun yakra'u fi mushaf sharif. And then we have Ana Ahmed. So what would be the question? It would be who? Who are you? The question would be from man. And you have to change the pronoun, right? So you have to say man. You cannot say man ana, right? Unless you're talking to yourself. It will be man anta, man anta. And then answer would be ana Ahmad. Now, can you say man anti? No, you cannot say man anti because why? We have the name of masculine person. If the name was ana amina, then you would say man anti. Okay? Now, and the last one we have ar-rajulu yashrabul ma'a. Here the question is about the action, and this is when you will be using mada. Okay, mada. So how do you ask about what someone is doing? You say mada, just like what we had before. Mada yaf'alu. Yaf'alu what? Ar-rajulu. Mada yaf'alu ar-rajulu. What is the man doing? Anytime you're asking about some kind of actions, what somebody's doing, you'll be using mada. You cannot say ma yaf'alu ar-rajulu. Okay, that's not right. That would be wrong. You have to say ماذا يفعل الرجل. Make sense? No. Okay, so the next tadrib we have at tadrib السابع, the seventh exercise. It says كون جملا. كون to make. Jumalan is the plural for jumla. That means make sentences. Okay, so this one looks interesting. So they give you words. We have to rearrange them in order to make a complete sentence. Okay, so let's see number one what we can do. Uh, Okay, it looks like it's exactly the sentence that we have. So you will say, Bakrun yakra'u fi mushaf sharif. I'm not writing it down because this we have exact same sentence right here, right? So Bakrun yakra'u fi mushaf sharif. Now, the next one we have is we have okay now we can say what we can say is that ala we can say ala babi shurfa. Okay, ala babi shurfati. Okay, so we have this one as the first, this one as the second, this one as third. Shurfati what? Sitarun khafifun. Sitarun khafifun. Okay, sitarun khafifun. So what it's saying is that on the door of the balcony, or on the balcony door, there is a light curtain. Khafif can be from in terms of heavy and light, or it can also be from like something that is dark color and the light color. Both of them can be understood. Okay, now, and the number three we have see, this one's easy because you have fi, then these two has to go together. You understand? I'll leave this one for you guys because it's very easy. Fil maktabi, then you can just make put these two in order. and you will have a complete sentence. Number four is we have, okay, number four, you can still make it. I'll just give you some clue. You can start from saying fi. You can say fi, then you have idafa for haqibatil hayawan. Okay, remember this means zoo. Haqibatil hayawan is zoo. So in the zoo, we have what? Then you can just say al asadu wan namiru. In this case, you can say both ways. You can bring the al asad wan namir fi fi haqibatil hayawan. Both of them would be fine. Okay. Now, and number five, we have uh, number five. It would be, you can say bakrun yusalli. Okay, bakrun bakrun yusalli fil masjid, right? Fil masjid. Okay. And you can say usually bakrun fil masjid also, right? You can bring the verb also in the first before saying the bakrun. You can say usually bakrun fil masjid. That would be fine as well. Okay. Now, and the last one we have here is, here you can say bakrun number one. Then you say yajlisu number two. Khalfa would be number three. Maktabin kabirin. So bakrun is sitting behind a big table. Okay, bakrun is sitting behind a big table. Inshallah, you can put them, write them in order, and you will have a complete sentence. Okay, now, so the next tadrib we have at tadrib thamin, the eighth exercise. It says bayin jumlata sahiha. Bayyan means to indicate or to clarify, jumlata sahiha, the correct sentence. Sahih is means correct, and a jumla is sentence, so it's your adjective, the correct sentence. And wal khati'a. Khati'a is the incorrect sentence. Basically, it's talking about the sentence, right? So indicate the correct sentence and the wrong sentence. Fima yali, what's coming, what's following. Kamal mithal, as shown in the example, right? So we have one example. It says lil ghurfati, right? For the room, it will be for the room. We have alif lam here. The one that is showing that is correct is shurfatun kabira. Okay, so we can translate lil ghurfati shurfatun kabira. For the room, there is a big balcony. When we have something like lil ghurfati, we have to translate as belongs to, or like it has. Okay, the room the room has. Okay, because this li has all these three different kinds of meaning. It can be for, remember we talked about this, it can be for, it can be belongs to, belongs to, it can also be has or have. You understand? So we can translate that the room has a big balcony. Okay, so this one seems to be the correct answer. The next one we have في غرفة القراءة, in the reading room. We have خلف المكتب. Okay, it's not making sense. Then we have, so this would be incorrect. Then we have maktabun kabirun. Okay, so that makes sense because in the room there is a big desk. Okay, this one seems to be right. Next one, it says madbakhun wasi'un. Do we have a kitchen inside a reading room? Of course not. So this would be the right answer. And we have bakrun yaqra'u. Bakr is reading fi sitarin khafif. It doesn't make sense. We have hujratu ta'am. It doesn't make sense, right? So we have fi mushafi sharif. Okay, so this one is the correct answer. He's reading the Quran. Okay, mushaf. Now, and we have al madbahu qaribun. The kitchen is close. Remember, after qarib we need min. Okay, so it looks like this would be the correct answer. Qaribun min hujrati ta'am. So the kitchen is close to the dining room. Okay, so this one would be the correct answer. In the next page we have uktub jam' al muannasi kamal misal. So write feminine plural as shown in the example. Now we will learn about something called sound feminine plural. Okay, as a quick reminder again, remember we have a few types of plural. We have broken, okay, and we have sound. The broken ones, when we have the plural is broken from the original word, right? We have qalamun, Okay, and the broken plural is aqlamun. As you can see, the original spelling is changed. And the sound plural, we have two types. One is for mudhakkar, masculine, and one is for feminine. Okay, so the masculine one we've seen before. Remember, we just add waw and noon. Okay, so we have mudarris, mudarris, and we add waw and noon, we have mudarrisuna. Yes, and you can see that we have original word intact. Okay, so we haven't changed anything, so we haven't broken anything, right? The word is there. And we have same thing with the feminine. Feminine sound would be, the way we do this is by adding alif and ta. So for example, we have mudarresa, mudarresatun, okay, mudarresatun, which is feminine teacher. And how do we make plural? We say we add alif and ta. But only thing we have to do is what we have to remove the ta marbuta before adding alif and ta. Okay, the idea is that ta marbuta is meant to indicate that something is feminine, right? Because we have the mudarris, this is masculine. Okay, so we have the mudarris, but we're adding this ta marbuta is for what? To indicate that this is a feminine teacher. But then the issue is the alif and ta is also indicates that it is a feminine plural. So now they think there's no point of having two different things indicating the same things, you know? Okay, that's the logic. So we remove the ta marbuta and we say mudar resatun. Okay, mudar resatun. I think we have seen some of this plural before, right? And we mentioned that most of the nouns that ends in ta marbuta, you can just simply make it sound plural using alif and ta. Okay, but some words, and that's quite some of them, that has their broken plural as well. Okay, for example, you say khiba, which is a bag. It has its own plural. It would be haqa'ib, haqa'ib. Okay, haqa'ib. So what I'm saying is that doesn't mean that just because you have ta marbuta, you know, all of them are just alif and ta. You know, it's something that inshallah we'll learn. So with that, they're showing you mufrad. Mufrad is singular. Mufrad means singular. And jamu means plural, right? And you want to add jamu muannath salim. Okay, salim is the word that means sound. Okay, because that's what it means. So we have example sayyaratun, and we say sayyaratun. As you can see, we remove this tamarbuta, right? You get it? It's very simple. Everything is there. We have the whole sayyara right here. We're just adding tamarbuta. Kurrasatun, kurrasatun. Okay, kurrasatun. Make sense? Then we have bitaqatun. How would you say it? Bitaqatun. And as you can see, the pronunciation here is very important. Because if you say bitaqatun, because all of them has the same ending. You say bitaqatun and here bitaqatun. The only difference is your this alif. So if you don't make it longer, it sounds like you're talking about singular. Here, if we don't make this one longer, we say bitaqatun. See, it sounds exactly like bitaqatun. All right. So we need to make sure that we're making the alif longer. Bitaqatun. Okay, so darajatun, darajatun, darajatun. Okay, inshallah you can do rest of them. So as you can see, it's not that difficult to make sound plurals for both masculine and feminine. But the issue is that not every word is sound plural in Arabic language. In fact, most of the words are broken. So that's why you have to know what is the plural for each of these words. Okay, for example, qalamun, you cannot say qalamuna, you know, just adding waw noon and make it plural. No, that's not gonna work, right? Because you have to know it's plural. Now